Hey, stylists, welcome to another episode of the Stylistpreneur Podcast. I am your host, Damali Fils, and today we have with us Monique Webber. She is the owner of MLWPR, which is a leading public relations agency that has been providing top-notch PR services to businesses since it started. MLWPR specializing in helping businesses build their brand awareness, increase their media presence, and improve their reputation within their market. Monique, come on in the room. How are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm excited to have you. I've been stalking you on social media for a while now. So thank you for accepting my invitation to come on
Thank
here.
you for stalking me.
Right. You're stalkable now. You have a few clients who I absolutely love. And I was like, oh, wait, who's representing them? Right. So please, Monique, tell us what led you to having a PR agency and just a little bit of your background.
So I've been in PR now for over 24 years, which is
Oh,
like half
wow.
my life. So I started out with BCBG Max Azria Group. I don't know if you're
Okay.
familiar with BCBG, but it's a
Yes.
clothing brand. And I started in 2000 as their fit model, actually.
Oh, wow.
Um, so I was their fit model for a few years, and I worked very closely with the owners, who was Max and Luba Azria at the time.
Okay.
And also I was modeling and singing.
Okay.
And I knew a lot of people in the entertainment industry. And, when you're intimate with people, you're like naked trying on clothing.
Right.
They really get to know you, right? So we used to have all these conversations about like, oh, Monique, what are you doing? Like when you leave here, like what's going on in your life? So
Right.
they knew that I knew a lot of people in the entertainment industry because
Okay.
of all the stories that I would tell them. And just one day, Luba, just out of the blue, was like, have you ever thought about doing PR? And I was like, absolutely not. Like
Right.
it's never crossed my mind ever
Okay.
because I'm a model, I'm singing, I'm on the entertainment side of this. And I get to do whatever I want to do. Like I'm not
Right.
clocking into a 9 to 5. But she was like, well, maybe you should think about it because I would really love for you to do like PR for us.
Okay.
And like you could just start off by dressing people that you know.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, oh, all right, I'll give it a shot.
Mm-hmm.
See what happens. So I came in and I started like a music and athlete type of division for them. So
Okay.
I was going after a lot of musicians and a lot of athletes, and we were dressing everyone from Mariah Carey to Alicia
Mm.
Keys to Beyonce, Katy Perry. And it just started to just blow up.
Okay.
So they were getting a lot of recognition from these musicians and athletes wearing their product.
Okay.
So I eventually took on a full-time role there and became over time their senior PR manager.
Nice.
And I stayed with them for over 12 years. And then I was scouted because also under BCBG, there's like 6 brands, one of which was Hervé Leger. I don't know if you
Mm-hmm.
are familiar with them
Just a
either,
little.
but that was those really tight bandage dresses.
Okay. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
everyone was wearing them in the
Oh my
2000s.
gosh.
So all of those placements on Kim Kardashian, Paris Hilton, all of those placements are mine.
Oh, I love it.
So I was bringing them a lot of attention, and I got scouted by another agency,
Okay.
saw my work, and they asked me to become their vice president of
Mm.
VIP relations. So that was Brandley Communications. So I decided to take that on because it took me out of just doing fashion, and they were doing everything from
Okay.
hospitality to food and beverage to business, business leaders.
Right.
So it was fun to just expand and grow my network and my net worth as well.
Right.
Because, as you meet new people, of course, in PR, that's what the name of the game is how many
Okay.
people you know and
Exactly.
how many people can you touch. So I stayed with them for a few years. And then from there, I've been with some of the top PR agencies in Los Angeles.
Okay.
And then COVID happened,
Mm.
and I was with an agency at the time. and they furloughed some people. They kept a few people on. I was one of the lucky ones that they kept on.
Good.
And but I also, because I was one of the lucky ones that they kept on, I also inherited 15 accounts,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Yep.
a lot of accounts
Okay.
to have to work on as a solo publicist.
Right.
So I'm doing everything for these 15 accounts.
Mm,
And like you're working far beyond your 8-hour
right.
day. And I just had it one day where I was just like, oh my God, this is a lot.
Right?
Like if I could do this for them, then certainly I can do this for me.
For yourself.
So I decided I prayed on it, of course. I was
Okay.
like,
Right.
if it's meant to be,
Yeah.
that I'm just gonna leave and just start my own thing. And also at the same time, because it was COVID, I have 2 kids. I
Mm,
have a 13-year-old daughter and a 14-year-old daughter. Sorry, she
okay.
would kill me for saying 13. A 14-year-old daughter and a 16-year-old son. So
Okay.
I was co-parenting at the same time, and my
Okay.
ex-husband lived in Las Vegas.
Oh, wow.
And he asked me like, oh, would you ever consider moving to Vegas? And I thought about it. And I came to Vegas to like look at some houses, and I fell in love with a house. I was like, well, I'll put in an offer, and if I get
Hmm.
it, then it's meant to be.
Oh, wow.
And that probably had to be like the quickest turnaround time for getting the house, because it went through in like 30 days. Like my whole
Oh,
escrow
wow.
process, 30 days. So I was like, oh my God, I have, I guess I'm moving to Las Vegas.
Right?
So because of the move to Las Vegas, and because of everything that was going on, I was like, now, like, God is really telling me, do your own thing.
Yeah.
So, when I left, I was still trying to hold on to the agency in LA. I was like, well, can I just work remote
Right?
from Las Vegas? And they were like, no. And I was like, okay, so this really means you are on your own.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was a hustle. So one of the things that I really wanted to focus on was Black-owned brands, because also during that time was the George Floyd movement,
Oh, yeah.
and everyone was jumping on the Black-owned brand bandwagon. Oh yes, let's support Black-owned companies,
Right?
and let's get behind them. Let's post up our Black square, and let's represent them for free for a few months.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you weren't thinking about this before, then this
Exactly.
obviously isn't a part of your brand ethos.
Exactly.
So I didn't want to be a part of something to where I was just jumping on a bandwagon, especially being a person of color.
Exactly.
So it became very obvious to me that there was a lack of representation
Mm.
for Black owned brands. And when I really sat back and thought about it, throughout my 20 plus year career in PR, I had only represented maybe like 5 Black owned brands.
Oh, wow.
So when I launched, of course, that became something that was near and dear to me. And what I wanted to do was support Black-owned founders. And I didn't take any of the brands that I worked with at that agency. So I started from zero, and I
Okay.
was hustling.
Yeah.
So I officially launched, like I said, in August, and I launched with 7 all Black-owned brands.
Nice.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah. That's so I'm pretty sure you're glad now that you took that leap of faith,
I most certainly am.
right?
Not to say that being an entrepreneur, I know like on social media, everyone tells you like, be an entrepreneur.
I know.
Entrepreneurship isn't for everybody. Let's get that
No,
straight. It's not for everyone.
no.
It is a hustle. It is a grind. And if you don't have that within you to like hustle and grind every
Every day.
single day, then this is not for you,
Right? No, I agree with that.
because you definitely don't know, like it fluctuates. One day
Hmm.
you're up, one day you're down,
Yeah.
and you have to be able to ride the wave. And
Hmm.
if you are not that person, then entrepreneurship is not for you at this time.
Right. And I will say that, what happened with George Floyd, that was very unfortunate, but I feel like there's been so many beautiful things that has come out of that. I feel like there's been so much spotlight being placed on Black people, beauty brands. And I love that you took the opportunity to make sure that you were doing your part with that happened. So I absolutely love that. So with your clients and with the experiences that you had prior to opening your agency, what would be some of those skills that you feel like just kind of transfer over to help you be successful with your agency?
You mean like what are like our capabilities? Like what do we do for our clients?
Like as far as like you opening your company and being able to be successful in it, I know that you had the positions working with other companies and that you did have some experience. What were some of those skills that you were able to transfer over to your agency as far as what you're doing with the other companies?
Well, I use all of it.
Okay.
So everything that I've learned as far as like
Right.
networking, your media relations,
Mm-hmm.
celebrity relations,
Mm.
and this whole rise of the digital influencer came
Mm-hmm.
recently too. So
Right.
you have to be able to pivot
Mm-hmm.
and embrace social media, which in the beginning, like a lot of publicists were like, ah, that's gonna die.
Right.
But no,
Oh,
it like actually became
yeah,
a
it's a
really
thing.
huge thing. And you have to once again ride the wave.
Mm-hmm.
So it's knowing when to pivot,
Okay.
um, and just always being willing to learn.
Okay.
That's what this industry is about. And really, as an entrepreneur, that's what entrepreneurship is all about. You can't be stuck in your ways because
Mm-hmm.
everything changes all the time. So
Okay.
you have to be always learning something new.
I agree. So with your clients and when we are talking about those influencers, what are some strategies or approaches that you are taking, not to say to compare the two, but to keep your clients able to have their presence, able to be able to put their brand in a spotlight and not compare it to an influencer?
Things that you use to spotlight a client would be like their thought leadership.
Mm-hmm.
So, what made them want to create a brand?
Okay.
What is the mission of this brand?
Okay.
And really, do they understand who their customer base is?
Mm, gotcha.
And you will find that honestly, there are a lot of brands, people who start brands and they don't know who their customer is.
Gotcha. They're just making
And
content.
yeah, they're just making stuff and just throwing it out into the
Mm-hmm.
universe and just, whoever responds is who responds. But you really should spend time and research who your customer is
Mm-hmm.
and get to know who your customer is,
I agree.
so that you have an idea of who you need to market to. Like, is it women from age 35 to 50?
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of brands, they're like, oh, I know we got all these little teenagers but
Right.
really, teenagers don't have money. So they're probably
Oh,
not the ones that are buying
no,
your
that's
stuff.
not your target
So,
audience.
like, you're right, that's not your target audience. So when you spend some time to get to know who your customer is, that will
Mm-hmm.
help so much define everything else, your
Okay.
marketing plan, your PR plan, how your brand voice.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really important. So I would
Okay.
definitely tell like any brand that's listening, find out who your customer is.
Okay.
Like pinpoint it down, all the way
Gotcha.
down to like like they shop at
Right.
XYZ stores and they go to dinner here and they have two kids with a dog, all the way
Right.
down to that.
No, I agree. It's funny, I had a mentor years ago, and she pretty much told me, like, you need to be a groupie for the client that you want. And at first I was like, that sounds crazy. But as far as like knowing where they shop, knowing their demographics, knowing what areas they live in, like all that's important in order to get that client that you want.
Yes.
Yes. So now thinking of someone that's like, you know what, Monique, I'm interested in being a part of your agency. Talk me through what that process would look like as far as them inquiring, as far as saying like them figuring out what their business is, who's their target audience. Is that something that you're helping them with, or is that something that they're coming to you already knowing?
They should already know who their customer is in order to
Gotcha.
hire a publicist.
Okay.
Because our job is to promote you to that customer.
Mm.
help promote you to that customer. So if you haven't defined who your customer is, then it's probably too early for you to get a
Okay.
publicist.
They're not ready.
Yeah, they're not ready just yet. So the process with me is like we would set up a discovery call.
Okay.
Uh, we'll go over what your brand is about, who
Okay.
you are. Nowadays, it's really important that the customer knows who's behind the brand. It's
Mm,
not even so much about the brand anymore.
right.
It has more to do with who's the owner.
Mm-hmm.
So, I want to know about you.
Okay.
Are you marketable? Do you have a story?
Right.
And then we'll put together like a proposal, and then it goes through the proposal process, and people come back and decide whether they're going to sign on with us or not.
Okay.
But I don't generally take on just anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very particular about the brands that we represent,
Okay.
just because I want to make sure that you are aligned with my mission as well.
I love it.
So, being a PR agency, I'm also a brand.
Mm-hmm.
So what you are putting out there also has to reflect me.
Right.
So, like I am very much into like clean beauty.
Mm.
I like sustainable brands.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as I mentioned, minority owned brands, Black owned
Mm-hmm.
brands, women owned brands.
Okay.
So if you're fall within, those categories, we can
Right.
talk.
I understand that. You definitely have to have, a basis for what you're wanting with your business. So I love that you do have those bases. Now, when it does come to like success stories or some memorable campaigns, are there any that you can share with us or just ones that really stick out to you?
Well, yeah. So we used to represent this blog called Absolutely Everything Curly,
Ooh.
and it was started by Dr. Gaby Longsworth,
Mm-hmm.
and she is a biochemist.
Mm-hmm.
So she doesn't necessarily like she's not a trichologist,
Right.
but she knows a lot about hair, and
Mm-hmm.
she put together a blog, and she was just trying to get traffic to her blog, and so that she can increase her subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
So what we decided to do was to set her up as an expert within the hair care industry,
Okay.
um, using her PhD as a biochemist,
Mm-hmm.
and she also was certified hair practitioner.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, like this woman is like very well read and studied
Right.
in hair. She just doesn't have the certificate that says I'm a trichologist,
Right. Right.
basically. So we had her do interviews with like everybody. Like
Mm-hmm.
she's done stuff for Vogue. She was in
Wow.
Elle. She was in Style, Marie Claire. I mean, you name it, she
Right.
gave quotes and things for that established her as the go-to person when it comes to hair, and
Okay.
in particular curly hair.
I love it.
So she was with us for a year. Mind you, I want guys to keep in mind that she doesn't have a product.
Right.
It's a blog.
Wow.
So mind you, we got within that year that she was with us, we got her over 102 articles.
Wow.
So earned media is not, it's not that easy to land,
Right.
but she got 102 articles,
Wow.
and over 5 billion impressions.
Whoa. That's
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah.
Really impressive. So now I know we spoke a little bit about influencers. Will you say, as a PR agency, that you guys are adapting to it, making changes, or how are you able to play in that same field and still have your clients be able to make the impressions, be able to make, their brand stand out amongst the influencers?
Well, you use influencers, of course. So,
Mhm.
like I was saying, you have to be able to pivot and
Mhm.
adapt,
Right.
when everyone you can't jump on the bandwagon at the end because
Right.
it's already started. Like the train has already left.
Yeah, you have to jump on.
You have to jump on. So yeah, once the whole Instagram and TikTok and all of that started taking off, we were already on it. So we're
Gotcha.
already reaching out to influencers, doing influencer campaigns, either sponsored or organic, gifting them product, and just getting it in their hands.
Gotcha.
Just trying to form relationships with as many influencers as we possibly could
Hmm.
and can, because we
Gotcha.
still are doing it, and just making sure that they have quality products, they
Hmm.
have positive things to say about them, about us, and they feel comfortable with sharing it to their audience.
Gotcha. And I can definitely see where it's important to kind of adapt and pivot. I went to a beauty show recently, and one of the major brands had an influencer there to help promote their class. And I will say the amount of attendees for that class versus one that didn't have an influencers was definitely a significant difference. Like there was a line just around the building. So I can definitely see where you're going to need that influencer, you're going to need that PR agency to help boost your brand. So I can see how it's very important.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
right. So I would say, what would you say are some misconceptions when working with a PR agency? Because I feel like people may not have a complete idea of what a PR agency is and how it can help their brand.
Yeah, I think the main misconception is that we do marketing.
Okay.
So marketing and PR are completely different.
Mm-hmm.
They go together,
Okay.
but they're different.
Gotcha.
So marketing is you are interacting with your customer. You
Okay.
are selling your products to a customer, and the end goal is to get them to purchase your brand,
Okay.
right? So that's marketing. So that's advertising.
Gotcha.
That is like your newsletters, like all your company communication.
Gotcha.
That's marketing. PR, we are responsible for your brands, um, making sure that your brand is recognized
Mm-hmm.
nationally
Okay.
and internationally, and um, getting your thought leadership out there so that people
Okay.
understand like what your brand is about. And it's like brand recognition, um, building up like your visibility and credibility amongst the consumer.
Okay.
The more time people see you, the more times they're like, okay, I've seen this brand
Right.
now a few times. Maybe now I'll go check it. So that's kind of what PR does. Like we make
Okay.
sure that people see you enough times so that
Gotcha.
finally the marketing comes into play
Gotcha.
and they'll go to the website and they'll go buy it. So we're responsible for your visibility. Long
I
story
love
short.
it. Got it. And so for beauty professionals, hairstylists, makeup artists that are looking to increase their visibility, what advice would you give to them besides hiring you?
Um, like I said, in this market now, it's really important for people to know who you are. And I
Okay.
know that makes that makes some people uncomfortable. Like they
Mm-hmm.
don't want to be in front of the camera,
No.
um, but you have to be. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. That's just the way it is right now, and that's just
Mm-hmm.
how people are growing their brands and getting out there. So you have to put yourself in the forefront and really allow people to get to know who you are and what your brand is about. Like, why did you start it?
Right.
Um, your story might resonate with someone else, and
Mm-hmm.
or you just being authentically you is
Mm-hmm.
what attracts customers to you now.
Right.
Um, and if it's not you, then get people who embody your vision
Okay.
to to make this content for you, be it an influencer or maybe someone else on your team.
Gotcha.
But you should always be engaging with your customers on social media,
Okay.
be it like maybe you're doing um, not just your posts,
Okay.
but maybe you're doing like IG lives,
Mm,
or maybe you are doing some like takeovers.
gotcha.
But people should get to know like who you are and what you're all about in order to start buying into you, because people are
Gotcha.
now very keenly aware of how they want to spend their money and who they want to spend their money with.
That's very
It's no longer like, okay, I'm gonna just go out and buy a Pantene, because like nobody knows who owns
true. Right.
like, we don't know those
No.
people, but no one does that anymore. It's not like, it's, we got to know all the information about Whitney White before we go out and
Yeah,
buy melanin hair care.
that's very
Like,
true. Yeah.
yeah, we got to now see Beyonce use her
I
line
was just
before
gonna
we're
say
even
that.
going to use Sacred.
We need to know Beyonce has hair.
Yeah, we need to know. So, people want to know who you are. So, if Beyonce has to do it, then you most definitely have to do it.
That's very true. Yeah. So I definitely agree with that. And so when we're thinking of trends, what would you say are some emerging trends with PR agencies that businesses need to know about in order to kind of add to their business?
Emerging trends with PR agencies. I think the rise of AI
Mm-hmm. Yes.
has really changed the industry for a lot of people.
Right.
Um, I a lot of agencies are now employing AI
Mm-hmm.
either for like press releases or pitches, or putting together like their decks and I mean, there's a number of ways you can use
Mm-hmm.
AI, but I think that once again, it's being able to pivot and
Okay.
embrace technology and
Yeah.
take it on. A lot of people are really scared of AI and thinking like, oh, this is going to take my job.
Yeah.
But AI is not a person. Like, you still, no matter
Exactly.
what you put into Chat GPT, you still have to go back through it and make sure that it's you,
Mm-hmm.
that it reads like a person,
Exactly. Right.
that it has some personality to it,
That's true.
um, and that it's correct information, because it does pull from all these different sources. So you want to make sure that it does apply to whatever it is you're talking about. So you do have to go through it still. You
Right.
can't just post something
No.
that time, like reducing the amount of time that you spend on things.
Okay.
Because like decks used to take hours to make, but now
Oh yeah.
you can just make your outline of a deck with
Seconds.
Canva, yeah, in like a few minutes.
Yeah.
So, just, I would just say, a lot of PR agencies are now utilizing things like that,
Mm-hmm.
um, which actually help your clients more, because now
Yeah.
you have more time to spend
Exactly.
on pitching them and actually developing these relationships with these journalists,
Mm-hmm.
instead of putting time into all these administrative things
Right. I totally
that
agree
used to
with
take
that.
hours to do.
Mm-hmm. Or needing to hire somebody and now you have the AI, so you don't.
Right. Now you have the AI. So like you don't, which is sad, because now you don't necessarily need to hire a graphic designer, because you can
Yeah.
really just do it on your own.
You can pretty much create anything.
Yeah, you can create it on your own.
Right. So now, and I know we haven't mentioned any of your amazing clients. Are there any that we can name drop? I haven't
Yeah.
actually,
So
yeah, you've
I have
introduced me to a
Donna's
few, so I love
recipe.
that. Say that one more time.
I said, so yeah, I have Donna's recipe, which is
Ooh,
owned by Tabitha Brown and
right.
Gina Woods. I have Unsung Cosmetics. The founder is Katanya Brew. I
Mm-hmm.
have Melanin Hair Care, Whitney White. I have Slay Hair,
Yes.
Diane Valentine. I have Mariah Beauty and Beyond, which is a clean makeup brand that's out of Saudi Arabia.
Oh, wow.
I have Shade Beauty. I'm trying to think who else I have right now. I think that's it for right now.
Oh, those are some amazing names. I love those.
Yeah,
So
thank
with
you.
these different clients that you have, is there absolutely like one thing that you love to help them with, as far as like their brand awareness or just them getting out their stories? Like, what's that one thing that you like helping each client with?
I think all of it. I mean,
All of it.
I haven't gotten to the point to where like this job is boring to me.
Gotcha.
I mean, even after 24 years, like I still get excited when I see our brands in a magazine. Like
Oh,
it could
nice.
be like the smallest placement. I'm like, yes, we did it.
Right. I love that.
We didn't pay for that.
Yeah.
So, um, and we do all earned media, by the way. We actually don't
Okay.
pay to play.
Gotcha.
Um, so, I mean, I love doing all of it, like the
Okay.
media placements. I love dressing celebrities, and seeing a
Yeah.
celebrity wearing one of your clients on a red carpet is
Oh, that's
amazing. Like
amazing.
Shirley Ralph just recently wore one of our clients to a Hulu red carpet, and I was like, oh my God, she looks so
Right?
good. That's my
Oh, that's
client.
amazing. That's amazing. So, just looking ahead for the future, what would you say are some goals or aspirations for your agency?
So I'm currently trying to build a showroom here. Like
Oh,
since I'm in Las Vegas, I'm no longer in LA.
okay.
So the market here is completely different than LA. Of course,
Okay,
we
I'm sure.
don't have Hollywood, but
Yeah,
Hollywood is actually coming here.
it
They're
is.
building a studio in Summerlin, which is not that far from where I am.
Okay.
They're trying to bring a lot of those uh movie the movie industry here.
Okay.
And it should be happening within the next few years.
Okay.
And I want to make sure that those stylists have somewhere to go to pull clothes
Right.
and to pull their beauty products. So that's what I've been working on,
Oh,
trying to
that's
do an
exciting.
actual full-fledged showroom here, because I
Wow.
will be the first to have that here.
Ooh. Well, fingers crossed. I'm gonna be on the lookout. I'll be waiting.
Thank you.
That's amazing. So there's one question I ask every guest on the podcast, and that is, what is your superpower as an entrepreneur?
When you sent me this question,
It's a
I
hard
had to
one.
really think about it. Yeah, I was like, what is my superpower? And honestly, I think my superpower is kindness.
Oh, I love that.
I am, I treat everyone with respect
Hmm.
and kindness,
Wow.
especially like in the entertainment industry, you come across a lot of like really mean and rude
Yeah.
people for no particular reason. And I don't think you have to be that way in order to get to where you want to be.
No.
So I'm very kind. I don't burn bridges with people.
Mm.
And when I take on a brand, like I really take you on as if your brand is now my brand.
Mm.
So, if I'm representing you as like, this is now my company, you know what I
Right.
mean? So you get like 120% of me. Like you get so much of me. I go above and
Mhm.
beyond because I want to make sure that you are successful.
I love it.
And, in this industry, people remember
Oh,
things.
yeah.
And so, you want to make sure that when you're building these relationships and when you are being the face of all these different brands, that
Mhm.
you are kind and that, people are like, oh, yeah, I remember Monique. She was so nice. And
Right?
oh, now she has a new brand. Yeah, I'll go and now you will
Exactly.
take that brand too and I'll use it and I'll promote it for her. I think that's how I gained a lot of like celebrity and digital influencer relationships and journalist relationships because we're just being nice.
Right? No, and it sounds simple, but it definitely takes you a long way. And I think people will definitely remember you more for being kind versus that person that was a butthole or something. So I
Right.
love that. And it sounds simple, but I absolutely love it. That's the first kindness answer I've gotten. So, but yeah, so Monique, I want to make sure that everyone's able to follow you, stay in contact. Where can we do that at?
Okay, so you can follow me on IG or Facebook at
Okay.
MLWPR. And our website is www.mlwfashionpr.com.
Okay.
Or you can always like email me.
Okay.
Monique at MLWPR.com.
Okay. Awesome.
Happy to answer questions. I
Okay.
get a lot of people that just want to like get advice, like
Okay.
I'm cool with that. Like, as long as it's, not taking up too much of my
Right.
time, but
Time is
but
money.
right, but I'm happy to like help people because there's so many like emerging founders, especially emerging founders of color and women who are just trying to just get out there and they don't know what to do,
Exactly.
or they might have like one question, or I'm happy to answer your questions.
Okay, we love that. Well, I'm going to send them your way and they're going to come with questions.
That's
All right.
fine.
All right. Well, Monique, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. I definitely appreciate you. We're forever connected now. You can't get rid of
Yes.
me.
Yes. No, I love that.
Yes. Have an amazing day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.